The end of chatter is the beginning of action. This is true for all fighters when the trash talk at press conferences ends and the fight in the cage begins. But for someone's, this is just the beginning of the trolling that feeds the trash talk. Welcome to the Full Contact. And in this video, we will look at fighters who, before knocking out an opponent, first showed off and trolled him. Some will say that karma did not work out for these show-offs, while others will admire their skill and self-confidence. Those who drink do not know about the dangers of wine, and those who do not drink do not know about its benefits. So it is with fighters. Those who show off are unaware of the danger, and those who do not show off are unaware of the benefits of this matter. Israel Adesanya is truly a great fighter. With his unique fighting style, which he developed in kickboxing and very successfully transferred to MMA. In this fight, he simply mocked his opponent, throwing his hands down and showing that he was no worse than the Terminator. After which he knocked out his opponent. The trick of life is to die young, but as late as possible. This is exactly what fighters think when they enter the cage for a mortal fight and are knocked out. And in this very ambiguous moment, which on the one hand shows the skill of a fighter, but on the other, a complete lack of fighting honor. The fighter lowered his hands, shaking them, before making a lightning-fast movement with his middle finger. He shocked his opponent and immediately hit him with a high kick, which knocked out his opponent. Those who were born under the roar of guns are not afraid of shotgun shots. Such fighters who have been in battles on the verge of death are not afraid of anyone. Roy Jones and his incredible knockout after the coolest trolling in the world of martial arts. He was so confident in himself that in the fight with Glenn Kelly, and this, by the way, was a fight for the WBC title, and not just a training sparring. He put his hands behind his back, worked in body defense, and knocked Glenn out with a lightning-fast hook that pierced the mind, which went down in the world history of martial arts. When the rain stops, everyone forgets about umbrellas. But the tricks of the great boxers remain in the fighter's arsenal for life. In this fight, which was organized by some promoter out of his mind, because both fighters are wearing white shorts and red gloves, the Japanese fighter turned out to be much more skillful than his opponent. At first, he defended himself well with his body, and then, feeling his superiority, he used the Roy Jones trick, spinning his right hand, striking with his left, and doing this repeatedly. Feed a person even for 3 years, and in 3 days of hunger, he will forget all the good things. This happens with fighters in front of spectators. You can put on a show to please them, but everyone is waiting for your knockout. Michael Venom Page, one of the most brilliant fighters with a unique style, every fight he has is a mockery of his opponent, morally and physically. Which is why many people admire him, but even more people are waiting for him to be broken. Because they perceive it as disrespect and excessive self-confidence. But no one argues that he is a really cool fighter, especially after his knockout with a tornado kick. A house where they laugh is much better than a palace where they cry. So it is with fighters. Old age and skill are better than youth without protection and skills. In this boxing match, young blood in black shorts went up against experience in white shorts, and the man, by the way, is 45 years old. At one point, the fighter lowered his hands, looked in the other direction, and danced a square dance, which simply charmed his opponent, who relaxed and watched. The veteran took advantage of this and hit him with a knockout deuce. He who can swim can drown. It's like fighters. Those who like to show off may get caught doing this. One of the most show-off fighters in history, Prince Naseem Hamed, is remembered by most for his fight with Barrera, in which the Mexican still punished the prince for his royal pride and disrespect. But in most of his fights, Naseem was truly head and shoulders above his opponents. He showed his superiority by standing in front of them, with his hands down and smiling in their faces, after which he could knock them out. It is impossible to defeat only sleep. Everything else can be dealt with. Well, of course, only if before that you play Mortal Kombat while chewing hot chicken with beer. Just like this fighter. The man entered the cage and at one point trolled his sitting opponent by making a gesture with his hands, as if he were Sub-Zero throwing a freeze. Then he attacked his opponent. The scoring combo took the remaining life from the damage line. When you are born an eagle, everyone thinks you are proud and arrogant, even if you are just flying in search of a mouse. This also happens when Vasily Lomachenko fights. Many people think that he is constantly trolling his rivals. Although this is just his fighting style, which turns into complete trolling for his opponents. But he actually trolled Mariaga a couple of times before knocking him down. A frog's children are always tadpoles, but when a fighter is beaten, the fight must always be stopped. Like in this fight, which by the way raised some questions among the fans. Diego de la Hoya beat Santamara throughout the fight, but then, looking somewhere in the corner and smiling, he immediately threw a hard uppercut and ran away. After which, the referee immediately stopped the fight. Some took it as trolling, while others took it as a signal for the referee and a corrupt fight. Write in the comments what is the coolest trolling you did before sending a pack of beer into the abyss of your stomach. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, ring the bell, and share the video with friends.